All right, top 10 small forwards
You got
in the
honorable
NBA
mentions?
right now. Of course I got
Okay.
honorable mentions. What is this? Come on.
Not amateur hour.
OG Anunoby. This is honorable mentions. OG Anunoby, Franz Wagner, Kyle Kuzma, Michael Porter Jr., Jaden McDaniels, DeAndre Hunter, Scotty Barnes. There's not that many good small forwards in the league, as I learned. At number 10, Andrew Wiggins. Number 9, Chris Middleton. Number 8, DeMar DeRozan. Number 7, Mikal Bridges. Number 6, Brandon Ingram. Number 5, Paul George. Number 4, Kawhi Leonard. Number 3, Jason Tatum. Number 2, Jaylen Brown. And number 1, LeBron.
Where's Jimmy? Wait, Jaylen Brown. You
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, where did I say Jaylen Brown?
have 2. You
Jimmy
mean
Butler.
Jimmy
Butler.
Butler. Jimmy
Okay.
Butler's at 2.
Okay.
Braun, Jimmy, Tatum, Kawhi, Paul George. That's
Okay.
top 5.
Do you think you could switch Ingram and Paul George?
I really wanted to.
I would for mine. I had Paul 1 ahead of Bi, or ahead of Paul George.
You had B.I. ahead of Paul George?
No, I had Bi right behind Paul George.
That's where I have
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Okay.
I have Paul George at 5, Brandon Ingram at 6.
Mine
really wonder
differs.
if you could
I have
switch
I have
them.
Michael ahead of Paul George and Bi.
What?
I would have Michael at 5.
Who do you have at? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Dude.
Do you have the same? What's your top 4?
LeBron, Jimmy, Kawhi, Tatum.
Okay, so you just swapped Tatum and Kawhi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just I know with Kawhi with the injuries,
Yeah.
but I just
I mean, you can make a case Kawhi healthy's number 1.
yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean,
No,
if you told me,
And I don't like Tatum.
I
so-
hate Tatum. If you told me I can get Kawhi for 7 healthy games in a series, I would put Kawhi number 1.
For sure.
But there's just so much shit that
Did
I
you
got.
have
I
LeBron
gotta
at
put,
1?
Yeah, I put Braun. at
Okay,
1.
I like that.
Boy, you have Bridges over Bi and Paul George.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know about
Interesting.
that.
My thing
yet.
with Bridges
I think
is
that's premature as well.
it might be premature, but I
he
think
wants
with
to get a head start on these guys.
I think with Bi, I have him ahead of Bi. I think offensively they're going to give you the same thing, and Michael is one of the best.
No, Bi has a much bigger bag than Mikal Bridges, easily.
I mean,
Brandon Ingram is a monster on offense.
I mean,
The defense is where Mikal Bridges.
offensively they average the same splits.
Well, I mean that's because Mikal Bridges was on the Suns,
No,
or I mean the Nets.
and he was the number 1 on the Nets.
Yeah, but who the hell else was going to score? Spencer
I mean, but
Dinwiddie.
he did it efficiently though.
He did.
And my thing with Bi is not giving you too much defensively, and Michael is. I just love having a guy. If we're facing LeBron or Kawhi or Jimmy,
Yes.
I can say, okay, this is your guy for the series.
Right.
You're on him, and that's why. For
We've
Michael,
only
that gives me a
seen
bump.
Mikal as a honestly, we've only seen Mikal as a top 10 small forward in the league because when he was with Phoenix, I don't even know if he was a top 10 small forward.
Well, he didn't.
We've
have the
only seen it for
opportunity.
2 months.
Yeah.
And like you said when we were talking about who were we were talking about Giannis versus Jokic, and you were saying you'll take Giannis or you'll take Jokic because of how much of a factor offense is nowadays. I'm gonna do the same thing with that
Yeah.
analogy, and I'm gonna say Brandon Ingram offensively is a monster. Defensively, doesn't give you
Yeah.
what he does, but we've only seen Mikal Bridges do this for like a month
and
and
I
a half.
and I understand that may be premature, but I guarantee if Michael stays on the Nets, I guarantee you he's an all-star.
Yeah, he'll be an
next
all-star
year.
next year.
I
for
guarantee
sure.
you.
No
And-
doubt.
But I would
and-
like to see more of what we saw those last.
Yeah,
because
because he had a half season of
Yeah.
doing that, so I get that. Where'd you have? I would have Wiggins at 10 too.
you got what Middleton? and,
Middleton at 9,
Middleton at 9. Who'd you have 8?
DeMar.
You could definitely flip those. I think you could.
I would have OG in my top 10.
Who are you taking out?
I would take out Middleton at this point.
Over OG?
Not
Mhm.
yet.
No way.
Not yet.
Well,
Dude,
just-
Middleton has still such a big offensive bag.
But he's 34 at this point. And
he's 34?
He's
He's getting up
33.
there.
I mean, dude, he's not,
not
young.
young.
And I think he has had
I thought
many.
he was like 31.
He's had many injuries, and
yeah, but OG, like...
Middleton's game. He's the ideal 3-and-D guy you want. How old is he?
Okay, but OG can't go really create his own shot. Like
So Middleton's 31.
Okay, that's what... Yeah,
He'll be
that's-
32 when the next season starts.
Okay, he's 31. That's not like 34 is a big difference. I don't think if you switch OD and Middleton, I don't think the Bucks upgrade in any means. Like Middleton is their secondary playmaker. Not only does he score, but he's a good passer too. He's got Middleton.
I mean,
can score
Holiday
from
and
every
Giannis
level.
are the 2 playmakers.
Yeah, Middleton averages like 5-6 assists a game. Middleton's still a good playmaker. Middleton's their second best player.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just the age and the injuries is why I knock Middleton.
I mean, he's only 31.
But he's had. I mean, how many injuries has he had? I mean, he's kind of been hurt the past few years.
He's been past the last year because he got hurt in the playoffs against Boston.
Yeah. Okay. My thing. If you could say Middleton's healthy, and you know that, I would take him over.
We just haven't seen anything from OG Anunoby other than an improvement this season on a bad team. And I love what OG's doing, but Middleton has the pedigree
right now
and the offensive game that OG just can't match.
Yeah.
And I really don't think there's that much. I mean, there is a drop-off from OG defensively to Chris Middleton, but it's not like the Grand Canyon. It's not that big.
I also question. I mean, Middleton's he's a good defender, but OG is another one of those guys that I say, okay, you're going to guard Kawhi, you're going to go guard Tatum.
You love these young boys, don't you? You
like
the projection. You like to project them.
I love these dudes that like I can confidently go into a series and say, you're going to go lock up that team's best scorer. I love that. I love having that.
Didn't care about it when it was Jokic versus Giannis now.
Well, because everything else Jokic does is just so impeccable. But yeah, I mean, I don't really. I would have DeMar at 8. I think you had him at.
I had him at 8.
8. So
I had Mikal at 7. Bi 6.
I think Wiggins.
You had Mikal over Paul George.
Yeah.
Why? I can understand Brandon Ingram, but over Paul George.
Yeah, I mean,
Paul George was an MVP candidate like 3 years ago.
It's probably premature 3 years ago, but
he's still. I mean,
it's probably premature, but. And again, I understand it completely, and it might be premature to have Mikal over Paul. I just love what Bridges brings.
I feel like if Paul George was on the Nets, I think the Nets would have won a game against Sixers. I think Paul George would have willed them to a win. Paul George is still like, you can just hand him the ball and like, go give me 45.
Yeah,
and he can go do that.
I'm at 5 and 6, so
you
could swap him, and I really wouldn't blink an eye.
Hairs here.
I'm not. Yeah, so. I understand the Brandon Ingram. I think putting him over Paul George is a little.
Yeah, and I get that because Paul George is still an elite.
He's
defender.
still Paul George. I mean, like, dude's still a monster.
Yeah, but you would have him over, or do you have Bi over Mikal?
I have Bi over Mikal. I have Bi at 6. I'm fine. Like that. I struggled with that. Like I would put Bi at 6. If you want to put Mikal over him, I'm not gonna argue that. It's splitting hairs.
No, I'm curious to see though if like after a whole season of Bridges with this role on an offense, his defense has to dip. He's putting that much effort offensively.
100%.
That's a good point.
Well, okay, where do you think Mikal? I don't think any of us think Mikal could be the 1 on a championship team.
No.
Do you think he could be the 2?
I think.
Or do you think it's a 3 role?
I think he could. If he has a Giannis, he could be a 2. I think. I think if Middleton could do it as a 2, because I think.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
I think Mikal could be a 2. If he if we look,
you think he'd be a 2 with Luka? Let's say we trade. Let's just hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically we don't have Kyrie Irving. Mikal Bridges is our number 2. We have good pieces around it. You think we can win a championship?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think
I actually agree with that.
I think obviously the rest of the roster is constructed right, like how the Bucks were with Giannis and Middleton, then yes, I think that team could.
You think Mikal Bridges is better than Jamal Murray?
It's just for me. It's hard when like they're just 2 different complete players. It's hard.
That's
to,
what
like,
I'm saying. But like, do you think he could be the number 2 on Denver? Like, if you took Jamal Murray off, let's say you give him.
I think that Jamal's fit is just so much better than Mikal's would be.
Let's just say you give Denver. Who's a good point guard you could put in the Jamal Murray role? It's not as good.
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, VanVleet. Yeah, let's just say VanVleet. I think that team still wins. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think of if you're swapping Mikal Bridges for Michael Porter Jr. I think that's a massive upgrade.
I hate
Absolutely.
Michael Porter. I'm glad you didn't have him in your honorable mentions.
He was in my honorable mentions.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I do not like Michael Porter.
He was nowhere near the top 10.
Have you
he was
seen the shots? He is
it's awful.
He takes some outworldly
He could be a
shots.
lot better if he was
Michael
smarter.
Porter, though,
I think he's a
good
very
defender.
low IQ player.
He's a good defender, and he's a great rebounder, actually.
He is, but
he's a great rebounder.
he offers zero playmaking whatsoever.
Yes.
He's probably one of the worst playmaking forwards in the entire NBA, and he cannot get his own shot whatsoever. He is solely a 3, and I mean,
he's a catch and shoot guy.
Catch and shoot. I'm not a big fan. I think if Porter was not on the Nuggets, I don't think he'd be talked about really at all. And I definitely don't think he would have got that max deal that he got.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Denver's regretting giving him that max deal.
God, you feel like because he's a talented guy. I mean,
I think there's a real argument that Bruce Brown was more valuable to the Nuggets than Michael Porter was.
in the finals,
fi-
absolutely.
Michael
Michael
Porter
Porter
was
couldn't hit a three. In the
he was
finals.
non-existent.
He was actually wasn't bad in that last game, but
Well,
over
in the whole
course-
run, Michael Porter was more valuable. In
He
that
was,
Lakers series, Michael Porter was cooking them.
Yeah,
But in the finals specifically, it was
and I mean
Bruce Brown.
once later in the playoffs, Bruce Brown was actually getting more minutes than Michael Porter. At first, Porter was, but I think Malone realized that Bruce Brown fits better and he helps him out more than because I mean Porter's he I really think that if
he's a shooter, man.
I really
Shooters
think
are hot. They're great when they're cold. They're not.
but
not
my thing
great.
too is the fact that he's getting a max contract. I think it's
That contract is
It's
too much for
next-
what
Way
he
too
actually.
much.
next season if the Nuggets have a dip any whatsoever, they're gonna trade Michael Porter for peanuts to get rid of that deal.
Yeah, probably.
He's gonna be a guy that they're looking to get rid for peanuts.
He's also a guy who has a back issues. As it is, he had back issues coming
Yeah.
into the league.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's not great either.
I do not like Michael Porter at all.
He's fun when he's hot though. All right, Buzzsaw, you want to go over this top 10?
Yep. All right. Top 10 small forwards in the NBA. Number 10, Andrew Wiggins. Number 9, Chris Middleton. Number 8, DeMar DeRozan. Number 7, Mikal Bridges. 6, Brandon Ingram. 5, Paul George. 4, Kawhi. 3, Jason Tatum. 2, Jimmy Butler. And number 1, LeBron James.
Wait, did you not have Mike Hill in it at all?
I had Mikal at 7.
Oh, okay.
All right, we got a
So, yeah,
couple more things.
Pretty
here.
even.
Now, next I got this random NBA question that we're gonna ask the guys here.
Okay.
All right. So the question is, down 1, shot clock's off. Who do you want taking the ball up?
Iguodala.
They can pass it. They can pass it. They can shoot it. But they're taking the ball up. They're initiating the offense.
They're just taking the
It's
ball
like-
up the court.
They're taking it up. Yeah, they're initiating the offense for like they can go ISO. They can pass it, whatever they want. Like theoretically, like balls in their hands.
We
past
don't know
half
what's
court.
around these guys.
We
though.
don't know who on their team.
They're who.
I mean, if Kevin Durant's on these teams, then like
Well,
obviously
obviously.
you want him to come up.
But let's
I
act.
could dribble the ball and pass it to Kevin Durant. Like
Let's act like these guys are on the teams that they're on right now. Like these guys are taking it up. Like
Okay.
who gives you the best chance to score a bucket to win? Whether that's passing the ball, getting an assist, playmaking, shooting the ball. Who gives you
Okay.
the best chance to win? So the 6 guys I got here: Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, and Jalen Brunson. Who do you want taking the ball up?
I guess it's just hard to answer for me when, like, they're not shooting it, but they have the option. to
Well, it's
do
more so
anything
like
with it.
they're playmaking.
I think all
go
6 of
ISO.
those guys are going to shoot it
More
on
than
their own
likely.
teams.
So,
they're not going
so
to.
are we looking at now who's taking the shot?
It's whatever gives you the best chance to win. Whether you think that's like Ja Morant driving in the lane, getting
So
it
not
out to
the
a
shot,
shooter.
but just trying to. You're down by 1. You need
I mean, if
you need
Trae
you need-
Young's taking the ball up for the Hawks, he's taking the shot.
it's just
like,
you need a bucket.
you need a bucket.
God, I think I might take Anthony Edwards.
I don't want to take De'Aaron Fox. He was
Wait, so
great
is
in
it
the
is
clutch
it
last
we're down
year.
by 1?
Down by 1?
Down by 1. Okay,
So
so we can get a layup or we can go
You
to
get
the
a
free
layup.
throw line.
You got to get a bucket.
Okay.
Whether it's
God, Jalen Brunson, honestly, is not a bad pick.
Yeah.
Brunson can go get a 2-pointer like that. I would not take Donovan Mitchell.
I wouldn't either.
I don't know. I don't think I'd take De'Aaron Fox.
I don't think I would take Ja Morant either.
A lot of me wants to take Fox. Was great in the clutch last year, and he was shot great. From
Yeah, but
three.
that's a lot different than the last shot of the game.
I think I'm gonna stick with my guns and take the Ant-Man.
I think I might take Anthony Edwards too. He's the biggest out of all of them. He's still a great driver.
He's a good shooter.
He's a good off the dribble shooter. He can get into the lane and get contact. If there's a seam, he can get into it and finish around the basket. He can shoot at all levels.
I'm not taking Trae Young. I think he's gonna jack up a stupid
Yeah,
shot.
definitely.
Yeah,
Trey.
Trey would dribble it up and take a 30-footer. However, he does make that in those moments. I mean, he made that against
I
Boston
might
in Game
take.
5.
I might take. I think I'm gonna take Ant-Man.
I think I'm taking Anthony Edwards too.
I'm gonna take Fox. Give me the Fox, man.
I almost want
He's
to take.
fast. He's a good shooter.
I almost want to take
Is
Brunson
Fox that good? I don't do. I think I'd take Brunson over Fox.
just because of what Brunson can
Fox
do.
isn't that good a shooter.
He was much better last year. Much better this past year.
My thing with Brunson is just what we could see Brunson do once he gets down in the post and just his fundamentals and I think Brunson's might get up the best quality shot out of all these
Probably.
guys. His separation down low, he's going to hezzy and get a nice mid-range fucking bank shot for you.
Yeah.
I think De'Aaron Fox maybe too just too much gas for me.
Honestly, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell last out of all of them.
I think I might take Trae.
Donovan
Young
Mitchell's
last.
going to dribble at 100 miles an hour
I
straight to the basket.
I think Trae Young's going to milk it down to a half second and chuck up a 35.
I've seen Trae make that, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Trae made that in Game 5 to win the playoff game against the Celtics.
Donovan
Like,
Mitchell for the playoffs, see what you want, but he did have some really good clutch moments in the regular season where he did win the game for him.
He hit buzzer beaters?
I think he hit a few. I mean, Mitchell, he dropped, what, 70?
He
He
had
did drop that
70 in
70 point
one
game.
game.
Didn't they lose that game though?
No, I think
They might have. I don't know.
I think they lost that game.
I think with that, I think you can go. I think
Devin Booker.
I think there's an argument with like any of those guys, really, honestly.
Okay,
For sure.
insert Kyrie Irving into that list.
I'm taking.
I think it's Kyrie by a mile.
I think it is too.
It's Kyrie by
No
a
doubt.
mile.
I mean, I've seen Kyrie hit those
Yeah.
clutch shots.
Well,
Yeah.
Kyrie can create his own shot like in a fucking
Oh, he's
millisecond.
yeah.
I mean,
He's got that bag.